The Brothers of Liberty, here to remind you what true freedom is. Hello, and welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Liberty with the older brother Kelton here. Today, we're going to be doing about Ron DeSantis. He's actually been trending for the past couple days because he proposed to reactivate the Florida State Guard. And of course, the leftist media was attacking him, saying, his name was trending with Gestapo, saying, oh, he wants to create a military force outside of the federal government that he would control, yada, yada, yada. But in all truth and reality, there's actually 22 other states that have a state national guard, including California and New York. Do you hear them being called Gestapos? No, because they're run by Democrats. Um, this is something that's been around forever. As much as they won't want you to believe, there's actually one article to try to say, oh, well, this is something that came around during World War II. Actually, no. State militias and state national guards and state guards, however, each state has a different name for them, been around since the founding of the country, even before that. It was 1903 that the United States Congress decided to federalize it to turn it into a national guard, but during times of crisis, actually made exemptions in the law where it would like take half the state force and federalize it and keep the other half in the state. It wasn't until after World War II, and actually in the 1950s, where they actually created a code, Title 32, subsection 109, that actually talks about that each state is allowed to have their own state guard. With that being said, now most states didn't actually create a state guard until the 1980s under President Reagan. Um, and that's when most of them were created. In fact, like I said, 22 states have a active state guard. New York actually has, from what I could read, the largest state guard in the country, even though they're the fourth most populous state. Florida being number three, Texas being number two, and California being number one. But for some reason, New York thinks they need more people than Texas or California. Anyway, it is also a known fact that the state guards could actually have all three branches, naval, air, and army. However, most of them only have a army. Some of them do have a, naval militia, and only one territory, Puerto Rico and Vermont, the only state, has a air unit. I would think Texas would have all three, but they actually only have an army, not a naval militia or a state air unit, but just a state army, state guard. So I don't know why the left media always want to attack DeSantis. Maybe because he likes freedom. Who knows? Maybe because he's a great governor, and this is a guy who lives in South Carolina, and I have to tip my hat off when someone's better than the governor of South Carolina. Um, and this is just another example of the bias. They want to criticize him for reactivating a state guard, which is allowed by not only the federal government, but even in Florida state laws, it says the Florida governor can do it. They just need a budget for it. That will probably have to, that it would have to do some in the Florida Assembly, but they've had it before. They'll probably activate it again, especially for disasters and things like that, as most states do. That's the most common with the state guard being used for is to assist in disasters, both man-made and um, natural, and also with any kind of riots and stuff. In fact, and I looked at the different states and stuff that did have it. It seems like a lot of them. Yes, there are some fresh volunteers that have never had military service before, but some of the state guards is actually volunteered by veterans, former military people. So I don't know why the left is complaining. Some state guards actually have, believe it or not, uh, weapons training. Some don't, some do, and some there's no information on. but there are some state guards with weapons training. Um, some say training is like an honor guard, others say simulated, but some has actual weapon training. I did not see all the. I'm assuming Vermont has actual training, considering that they have an air unit. I wouldn't want to go up in an airplane and have someone flying an airplane who just got out of high school and no flying experience. But with that being said, there you go. And these states have their own budgets for it. So it's not unheard of. Florida will be the 23rd state, which means there's 22 states that did it before Florida, and a lot of them actually had it during World War II, and they just enacted, didn't want to deal with the budget. So they freed up the budget. So if the media is going to do something, get it right. Even Sarah Silverman blasted Joy Reid when Joy Reid took to Twitter, and Sarah Silverman actually told Joy Reid to read the article before you post stuff like this. You're a news outlet, and that's a liberal talking to another liberal. So yes, um, say what you want about DeSantis trying to be a dictator or authority and rule. That's Biden. All right. Don't get the two confused. DeSantis is freedom. Biden is dictatorship. All right. Don't like what I said? Make a comment. Uh, like, share, subscribe. If you have any topics you want us to discuss, Brothers of Liberty 76 at gmail.com. And we'll always be here. We're on YouTube, Rumble, Parler, Facebook, and we might go through other media outlets as well. And once again, this is the older brother of liberty, always reminding you what true freedom is and ought to be.